Hey guys, welcome back. Just getting back out to my sawmill here. I've sort of been taken away from this project for a little bit, a whole bunch of other things going on. You guys know exactly what I'm out here doing. I'm going to be cutting some logs. These red pine logs I cut down from the forest all around me. Probably did that about a week or two ago, maybe a bit more. My memory's good but short. I'm going to be making this into some siding today, which I started back a week or two ago, so that I can put it on the side of my equipment shed. Now, the equipment shed is my next project that I've been working on, and I'm trying to wrap that up, hopefully before the snow flies. If I work any slower, though, it's definitely not going to be done before then, so I'm going to get down to it. Now, last time around, if you guys were here, you probably saw me add some little bits and pieces to the sawmill in order to boost the efficiency. One of those was a hinge, you guys can see there and there, on my log ramps. Now, the log ramps are here to span the gap from my log deck to the sawmill. These hinges are hopefully going to make it a lot easier for me, so I don't have to constantly lift these 4x4s and move them out of the way and position them. Is it going to be a big difference? Who knows? We'll find out. If it is, though, I'm definitely going to be happy for this addition. Now, some of you guys in the comments in that video told me that when I get these log ramps, and let's roll this log out of the way. You guys told me that when I get this log ramp up into position, like so, that I don't want to have it come down on my head. And yes, I completely agree with that. And you suggested that I could bungee cord it or tie it up somehow, and that's exactly what I've done. I just took a piece of rope here, I ran it up to the rafters. I'll probably just tie a little hitch on there just so that if the wind picks up, or maybe the vibration, who knows, this doesn't come and knock me out. Although that'd probably make for some good video. On that same video, in addition to this log ramp, we also ended up putting this up here, which is a bit of a deflection for the sawdust that comes off the sawmill. You guys would have seen when I moved the sawmill over here, there's probably only a few inches of clearance between the sawmill and the post, so I put this up to hopefully make it so the sawdust doesn't really accumulate there. Now, I went home and I was sort of scratching my brain, drinking my sludge, and reading the comments you guys left me, and many of you gave me some good alternatives to this, and many of you pointed out the fact that this might not be that much better than what was there, which was nothing. I agree with you guys. This is going to be a hazard because it's so sharp. I don't want to injure myself. I don't want to injure anybody else. So I'm going to take that off here before we get going. That's going to be chalked up as an error. So we're going to take that down for now. I'm going to go back to the drawing board. We might see something different there in the future, but for now, I don't think I'm going to risk it. And lastly, you guys would have seen last time around, I put that piece of plywood on the end of my slab rack. So when I'm throwing slabs from where I'm standing, they have something to hit without going too far off the end. You guys probably noticed in some of my other videos, when I throw slabs off there, especially when the stack gets high, the slabs tend to slide past the end of that slab rack. That makes it so that I don't have a spot to evenly start from when I'm cutting my 16-inch pieces. So that'll give me a barrier. You guys mentioned in the comments, and that should be on this side of the end 2x4s so that the screws don't pull out when the slabs hit it. Great idea. Thank you for sharing. I'll be changing that as soon as I get my impact driver back out here. You'll also notice I changed the position of the slab rack. So I often was tight for space, and you guys probably noticed there's trees galore. I'm tight for space because of that. So I moved this slab rack from about here and I tilted it over there. Still allows me to throw the slabs on there, but it gives me just a little bit more room to get in here with the tractor and load up the IBC cages and pile them up over there. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. We got work to do. Let's get down to it. Glad you guys are along, and here we go. Okay, that's the end of that. Check that out. Now that is a good haul. As you guys can tell, making siding sure makes a lot of material real quick. Very, very rewarding, as you can see. 3/4 of an inch by 6 inch wide. That's what I'm using for my board and batten siding. Those are the boards, at least some of them. I still got to cut the battens. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take these and not just leave them there, but I'm going to stack them up here. So I've got some of the stickers laid out here, and maybe we'll just go have a little look-see. You guys can see here's my pile, and I've got it spaced out. You can see on some 2x4s, so my tractor with the forks can come in, pick up the whole lift. Now, stickers are all these pieces in between all the boards, and what that does, it gives it an air gap. Now, I do an air gap not just this way, but I also do an air gap this way. You can see between the boards. That one's a little exaggerated, but I'm going to put the boards there I just cut. We'll make another layer, another layer, another layer, and eventually we'll get about 100 or so of those boards, and I'll be taking it back to the equipment shed and putting it on. Let's stack them up. If you're new to milling lumber and you haven't really air dried any wood before, make a lot of these guys stickers. Now I have short ones here. Longer is probably better in this situation, but hey, this is what I got. I make it 1 inch by 1 inch. Many people make it 3/4 by 3/4, whatever you decide. 1 by 1 is easy for me to do, so that's what I do. I just keep them in these blue boxes here, and then I just use them. And I can't say it enough, you got to cut an awful lot of these. Even when I thought I had a lot, when I first started sawing, you end up using even more than that. So keep a lot handy, keep them all the same dimension, and you'll have some nice straight lumber after it dries. And what I'm doing here, and you guys probably know this if you do cut wood, if you don't, maybe you'll learn something right here. I keep the stickers sort of aligned one over top of each other on subsequent rows. So when you look at the stack, most of the stickers follow vertically in line. And I also try to keep them relatively close to the ends. And I know many of you have reminded me, and it's definitely good practice to put something heavy on the stack when you're done. Many people will use a ratchet strap, something like that. And if you don't do that, just so you know, you may not get cupping in the boards. But if you get wider boards and you don't put that weight on it, you don't run the straps around it, then you can get some cupping. You don't want that, obviously, if you're making it for a customer. You don't want that if you're making it for furniture. Probably don't want that in general. So put some weight on it, run some straps, good to go. All right, guys, well, the rain is starting to fall here. It's a little late, but that's fine. We could use it. Looking back here at my pile I just put up, that's a beautiful stack of lumber. I'm going to continue adding to this because I need more for my equipment shed. If you're looking at getting a sawmill and you're wondering what it's all about, that's what it's all about. Getting out here, enjoying the fresh air, making some sawdust. That's what it's all about. And hey, it's a beautiful life out here. Guys, if you're out sawing today, enjoy yourselves, be safe, and hopefully I see you next time. And folks, if you haven't done so already, please give me the old thumbs up if you like this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.